Hello and welcome to Paul and Lynn's test ride of the BMW K1600 GTLE. Right, so we're just leaving the dealer, Allan Jefferies of Baildon or Shipley, West Yorkshire. And unlike the other dealership where we tried to get a test ride where they didn't even have the right bike, Allan Jefferies had two demos, models of that bike. So, you know, hats off to him, top marks. And we've got this bike. This is just leaving 10 o'clock on Saturday the 3rd of October, and we've got it until, well, as long as we're back, you know, before 5, so basically till 4 o'clock. So we're on our way home with the bike to show Lynn's parents and to show our neighbours, or neighbour Neil, who's a very keen motorcyclist for many years, and he can't wait to see the new baby potentially. Right, so overall impressions, first impressions, very low down in the seat. I'm 5'11". Don't know the rest of my details like you do, Brian, but basically quite tall, weigh about 17 stone, whatever that is in pounds, I'm not sure. 14 pounds for stone, I think, isn't it? Something like that. So, as I say, seating very low down. I was afraid that it would ride like a gullwing, and what I mean by that is that, you know, you've got your ultimate, I mean the ultimate riding position is without doubt on a Honda Gullwing. Having had two of them, the 1800cc models, you know, I know what it feels like. But apart from the fact that it's low in the seat, I could really, you know, get me both feet flat to the ground. The seat is adjustable apparently, but I could get my feet flat to the ground. Apart from that similarity with the Gullwing, I'm pleased to say that the ride itself, the engine, you know, everything, is nothing like the Gullwing. So happy days, because we just wouldn't like to go back to that again. As many people say, some that haven't experienced a Gullwing maybe, but they say, you know, you sit in a Gullwing, you sit on a Pan-European or ST1300 or FJR 1300, and I used to say, you know, what did they mean by that, you know, before we got the Gullwing, but I now know what they meant or what they were trying to get at. So it's a little bit different setting off. You know, you really do feel the weight. It's quite a heavy bike. Apparently it's 348 kilograms fully laden with fuel, and of course engine oil, etc. So it's not light by any means, but as in most motorcycles of a large size, as soon as you start riding off, well, the you know, the size and the weight, everything, you know, everything just disappears. You just don't think about it. The gearbox, not as smooth as the FJR, nowhere near. I try my best not to clunk gearboxes to the point where sometimes I'm actually overthinking about the gear shift. You know, but with the FGR, absolutely smooth as silk. This is not so round town. It was like the i1200 RT that we had as a courtesy bike the week later. Never ridden an RT 1200 before with the boxer engine until the following weekend, the 10th. But very much you know, the gearbox very much like, you know, so it's clearly a BMW trait. People have said that, but until you experience it yourself, you don't really know proper. Right, so as you can see, the camera unfortunately is suffering from a little bit of condensation. The day was quite cool, probably around about, you know, 7 or 8, 9 degrees Celsius, which is 48 degrees Fahrenheit. So not terribly cold, but there was a bit of fog here and there, so obviously a little bit of moisture in the atmosphere, and the camera does suffer from this. Obviously it's getting quite warm inside the camera, and of course the cold air blasting on the camera, of course that creates the condensation. So it's kind of like looking through a porthole at the minute. It does clear as time goes by, but hope it's not spoiling the view. At least the bike's in shot, nice and clear. So we're now coming up away from Bradford towards Keighley, and we're heading, as I said, we're heading for home, and the way we go is on the A650 629, and then go over the tops from Cross Hills down to Lancashire Bridge, and down to Colne, to the motorway at Burnley or Colne, and then straight to Blackburn. So as I said, by this time, you know, we're starting to get the feel of it. Lynn is absolutely loving it. I mean, from excuse me, from a pillion point of view, you know, there's no match apart from the gull wing. You've got heated seats, front and back, independently operated. You've got heated grips, which is great for me, being at the front there. So nice and cosy. And when we got our heated jackets wired up, well then we'll be absolutely in clover. People say, you know, non-bikers usually, when we mention heated jackets and heated seats, you know, they say, oh, you might as well have a car. You know, what's the point? Well, anybody who's a motorcyclist, you know, knows the answer to that. And anybody who's asking that doesn't really deserve an answer, because they will never know what the difference is. So we'll just leave it at that. So now the screen, I wasn't really happy with it. When it's fully up, I am looking through it from about probably 3 inches down, if you will. And although it's total protection, it's upright and it's right in front of you, I was getting a terrible real downdraft at the front of my helmet onto the forehead, if you will. And oh, it was awful. At 70 miles an hour, which is, once we get beyond this 50 zone here, it turns into a national speed limit, which is 70, obviously, for a dual carriageway. It was quite bad. and I thought, oh, I don't like that. So there's a GT screen which you can see difference. If you look at the screen now, and this is the GT screen. Right, there you are. That's the two bikes side by side. You can see the left side, that's a GTLE, and the right side is a GT model of the bike, and you can see the dip in the centre of the screen. And so I'm thinking that you know, because it goes up at the sides with a dip in the middle, maybe that will divert the airflow away from the helmet. Only time will tell. I mean, they've said that they'll fit one, you know, if necessary. Well, you know, we'll just have to try it. So anyway, so we're on the dual carriageway. We're making some progress now, and at this stage, well, I'm just in clover. You know, Lynn is at the back, just absolutely loving every minute, and we're just slowly but surely falling in love with the bike. I mean, the engine. If you look at the engine of the 1600, I mean, you know, just take a look at this now. It really is a wonder of engineering. It really is. And compare that, the BMW K1600, with the Honda CBX 1000 from the 70s to the early 80s. Now look at the comparison here. I mean, look at that. I mean, it is a bike. Just imagine when that came out in 79, was it? 78, 79. What a thing of beauty that is. So you can see how compact the BMW is, you know, and it's a sixer, just the same as the Honda CBX. So now when it starts up, when the engine starts up, wow, you know, I mean, what a sound. I mean, what I'll do is I'll put a recording of the engine right at the end, and let you hear it in full glory. Now we're just pulling in here, as I seem to recall, just to make a few adjustments, have a play around with the controls. Yeah, adjusting my mirrors. I should have done this before leaving the dealer. The mirrors, absolutely superb, as good if not better than the FJR. Rock solid. They pull in, you know, for if you parked in a tight spot. Very, very handy. Yeah, I'm going through the different menus now. There is a sat nav in there currently. It sadly, the bike didn't come with a sat nav. It does normally, but we've been a demo. They weren't prepared to put a sat nav in, so you know, to buy them, apparently that particular model you're looking at £600, which in my view is way overpriced for a sat nav. I know it's a Garmin, but it's BMW Motorrad, so it's integrated with the bike's technology, but still overpriced. I mean, we paid just over £300 for a Garmin Zumo 550 in 2008, and in fact I have just sold that sat nav. So you know, so it's been a right good little sat nav. It's got us all across Germany, although there was a story behind that initially, which if you haven't seen our Germany series, I would advise you to watch and enjoy, and you'll get to know about this sat-nav problem that I had. So yeah, so just making a few final adjustments and just chatting with Lynn, just seeing how she is and what she thinks. So there we are. So off we go again. These bands on this road leading to the roundabout here is really bad for motorcycles. The K16 handled the severe strips very well, you know, but in some cases, you know, if it's wet, I can see them being a little bit, you know, a little bit dangerous. So they clearly don't have motorcyclists in mind when they're putting this stuff down. This roundabout up here is so much better than it used to be. They've put traffic lights on it now. It used to be really busy. A lot of traffic going to Keighley from your right, so you could never get out. That's right, Paul. Set the lane of least resistance. So at least, as I say, you've got chance now with the traffic lights. A lot better. So always remember, coming this way, it reminds me and Lynn of when we got back to biking. And first of all, we got the Honda Deauville in 2004. And then 5 months later, decided that I was indeed ready for the Pan-European, and so 5.5 months later, so September 2004, we picked up our brand new Pan-European from Bradford Motorcycles. So this is the way that we came home, and there is video of it, because Lynn drove the car, she was in the car, and Samantha, our daughter, held a camcorder in the car and filmed her dad riding the new bike home. She did that, I think, on both bikes, on the Deauville NTV 650 and the Pan-European, so might just upload them to YouTube. Be nice to look back on. So this road, it's quite a good road. You know, it's pretty boring. I mean, it's just 70 miles an hour. You know, but it gives you a chance to open up your new bike, stretch your legs. So by now, overall feeling, very nice, very nice. It's got audio, it's got radio, it's Bluetooth. You can pair your Scala systems, or you can get the BMW Bluetooth enabled helmets at great cost, of course. So there's plenty of connectivity, and there's a little pocket further down on the right hand, just below your right knee, on the right hand side of the fairing, where you can put an iPod or iPhone or whatever you want to use, MP3 player. And the other side is a lockable, I think they're both lockable, I'm not sure, but the left side certainly is, waterproof little compartment. So plenty of storage space for little bits and pieces of electronic equipment. And of course you can play music from your sat nav directly from that, which is handy. But yeah, so it's it's future proof. You can really connect up. Now the display I do like. Back in 2012, when we were looking at maybe getting this bike, I must admit I wasn't sure about the display. The kind of I think they've changed it to what it was. It looks different. You've got your speedometer on your left and your tachometer on the right, and in between you've got this multifunction digital display. And I wasn't sure about the odd shape, because first glance, it does look odd. There's nothing like it. But I tell you what, looking at it now, it is certainly grown on me. And you've got the lovely speakers with the chrome surround, and I think it just sets it off nice. The handlebars, well, what a riding position, and the cast on the handlebars is so good. It really does feel quality, and it's just magic, just really nice. The throttle, of course, ride-by-wire. I think the dealers set it up on road. You've got road, you've got dynamic, you've got rain. Rain is obviously for when it's wet, and it just takes that little bit of power out the back wheel, just to a bit of caution. Dynamic, of course, speaks for itself, and road is for just normal riding. You can change that whilst you're riding, but the custom, normal and comfort settings of the suspension, and of course rider with luggage, rider and pillion with luggage, all those settings, you have to do that when you're stationary, which makes sense, because of course it's pumping the suspension up and letting it down, so you couldn't do that while you're riding. It won't be safe. So, but the mode, the dynamic, road and rain, they can be altered whilst you're riding. So if your road conditions change, you can actually do it without stopping, which is really handy. The road setting is really good. It's ideal really for town like this kind of thing, going through towns and what have you. Not really tested dynamic properly to see, I know she can move, I know sort of, dual carriageway riding, but when you get up into the Lake District where there's lots of twisties, I guess dynamic will be handy for that. So we'll have to try it out for that. And we're coming into Cross Hills now. This is where we are at the moment. Quite a bad junction this. You've got a right turn at the top, and there is another way going. When I got to the last roundabout, I took the second exit. Now if I took the first exit, I would have gone over the railway line. It's quite a busy railway line, and you'd have come to a right turn and then come from the left up here, so you wouldn't have had all this traffic. But there we are. So it's giving me a chance to get used to hill starts. Now this bike has a feature called, the hill start feature where it prevents you from rolling backwards, and it sort of knocks off when when you set off, and I haven't really looked into this, but I mean technically you shouldn't need it. If you can ride a bike like this as a test ride, you've clearly got the skill to start with. You wouldn't just go and test ride one of these bikes if you had like a, I don't know, 125cc or something, and you weren't perhaps you haven't got the confidence, because you have to have the confidence there to start with to handle a bike like this, because it's £1,000 excess on the insurance. It's not to be sniffed at. It's a lot of money. So now this is a nice little place, Cross Hills. It's 20 mph limit here. Nobody keeps to it, of course, but it's blighted like most little places. It's blighted with traffic, like you just saw. Then there's a HGV went through, because it's a busy road, and there we are. So what the aerial there, as I said, the I'm not sure about that. I guess where else could he put it, but I personally would have preferred it somewhere at the back. I think in this day and age you don't need, perhaps, I don't know, with technology, do you need an aerial sticking out like that? Not sure. Could the bike not be the aerial? Don't know, because I think it draws attention to itself as well, for people to come and sort of have a play with something whilst it's parked up. Sadly, that does happen here. Crime, is quite prevalent around the motorcycle fraternity, sadly, which is really sad. But that's another matter. Now the top box on this bike, wow, it's cavernous. Now I think it's the same size as the Jivy E55, which is what we had on, or have on, the FJR. I think it's the same size, but I tell you what, it's so solid. It's got each side of the box, you've got two telescopic, openers, if you will, like you get on a tailgate of a car. So instead of it having just a hinge and a piece of cord to stop it from falling, the lid fully opening down to the seat, it's got this really well made sort of opening system, and it feels solid. When you're opening and shutting it, it feels solid. Mind you, to buy them separately, apparently they were about £1,000. So, of course it's central locked like the rest of the bike. The panniers, the top box, they do lock centrally, which is pretty damn handy. You just walk away and you know that that it's all locked up. You can hear it lock very, very cleanly, and excellent system. So so it's £1,000 for a top box, or a top case as some people call them. I've noticed the BMW salesman called it a top case. I myself prefer top box. It's something that we've always called it a top box, and panniers or side cases, we call them panniers. So now the panniers, again, absolutely rock solid. If you lift them individually, sort of off the bike, It's amazing. Even empty, they're so heavy, so well made. So it just looks well, and also like the FJR, pleased to say that when you take the panniers off, it still looks a bloody good bike. You know, the exhausts are absolute key. Without the panniers, not only have you got the bike's panniers are safe from getting damaged, they're at home, you don't need them, you're not touring, so you just need your top box. But they are, you know, you can ride without the bike looking ridiculous. Now, the bike I'm thinking about, personally, it's just a personal opinion, was the ST1300 Pan-European. Without its panniers, with the triangular shaped exhausts, it looks silly without its panniers. With the panniers on, you couldn't see them. You couldn't really, you know, see the shape of the exhaust. It just looked the bee's knees. But without the panniers, the bike suddenly looked silly. So very rarely did I ride without the panniers. So now here, as you can see, sadly we're going over the tops, over to Lancashire Bridge, and the fog is still lingering, it's still there, and of course the camera is slowly but surely getting misted up. So I think at this stage we'll edit out the rest of the footage and then take it from there. So apologies for the condition of the lens, but nothing we can do about the weather. Okay. Alright, so it's clearing a bit now. Coming down into Lancashire Bridge now. This is really bad, these rumble strips. You can see the shape. Watch this. Woo, 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 woo. You know, it's just ridiculous. And of course, if you notice, they're on the other side of the road as well. You only need 1.5 doing. If you know, they're warning you that you're entering a 30 zone. Why put the rumble strips across the other side? I mean, it's just wasting damn money. So anyway, that's for another day. Just past the speed camera there. I don't know if you spotted it there. The transmission is 6-speed, and as I said, in road, I've only tried dynamic mostly at the moment, but that is certainly very, very sharp. Doesn't hang about. But the transmission 6-speed, and I think, depending on the gearing, 6-speed on a touring motorcycle is right. I always thought the FJR lacked the 6th gear, although anything after sort of 65, 70 onwards, the engine did smooth out. They clearly thought it through. I mean, the FJR, beautiful bike. You might be thinking to yourself, or saying, what is he thinking of changing it for then? And the simple fact is that Lynn and me have this motto: we live once. This is not a rehearsal. So if you don't do it now, i.e. try different bikes, you never will. If it works out and you change, it works out, absolutely happy days. If it doesn't, it's not the end of the world. We've made a mistake with the Gullwing, from the Pan to the Gullwing. That was a big mistake. but we did have some happy times on the going. Don't get me wrong, we certainly did, but it was a mistake. And the difference between the going and trying this is that I never test rode the going. Now, you might be saying that's very, very foolish, and I suppose in some ways you will be right. However, in the, well, it's 35 years since I started biking, I never have test ridden the bike that we've got, and they've all been good ones. So you've either got luck on your side. Now here we are, just interrupting myself. This is coming into Colne, C-O-L-N-E, Colne, in Lancashire. So we've either had luck, or I've either had luck on my side, or, as I've often said, I've got off gut feeling. And we, although since I first spotted my first going when I was a young man, first starting out on bikes in, as I say, 1980-81, I did have that sort of desire to one day maybe own one. And lo and behold, in 2007 we did just that. And anyway, as I said, that's by the by. Now today we've got the test ride of this the K1600 GTLE. Big change. First of all, it's a change of bike, but also a change of manufacturer. So gone from Japanese to German. So, you know, so that's quite a big step. I mean, you just cannot go wrong with a Japanese bike. I mean, they've one or two models have had their problems over the years, but on the whole, you know, the reliability of Japanese bikes is second to none. And to be truthful, I don't know much about BMW, and that's the bottom line. I don't know much about them, having not been in the circle of BMW ownership. Certainly BMW car drivers, not wanting to offend anyone here, they do have a reputation of being a bit aggressive. You know, I do see that, but there again, you see so much aggression on the roads these days, not just from BMW car drivers, but from a lot of car drivers, because of the general way that everybody is these days. Everybody wants to get there yesterday, and life's too fast. And I suppose if you're in a car, in a fast car, well then you use that car as an extension of your personality. Just a theory. Anyhow, here we are in central Colne. So, you know, a change of manufacturer, change of country of manufacturer. So a big change. So now the foot pegs for rider and passenger pillion, absolutely brilliant. So comfortable. Really comfortable. And unlike the Gullwing, the passenger has got foot pegs, and that alone is one little thing that makes this bike feel and look like a sports tourer and not an out and out touring bike like the Gullwing is. I keep referring back to the Gullwing. I do apologise, I'm not criticising the bike, it just wasn't for us. And you know, I guess the K1600 is a direct competitor for the Gullwing and the likes of the Pan-European and FJI. I'll tell you what, one thing that we noticed pretty early on, but especially now that we're back into Lancashire, where sadly the road conditions are far worse, is this absolutely awesome suspension on this bike. You know, you just don't feel the potholes, you know, the imperfections on the road. You just don't feel it. You know, it's there, but the bike is taking all the shocks. Now, the downside to that, I have a theory that if you can feel the road conditions properly, i.e. crap road conditions, then perhaps your wheels are less likely to suffer from, you know, being buckled, being damaged, or alloys. You know, if you can't feel it through the bike the same, maybe you might hit a sunken manhole or a pothole harder and be a bit less cautious of it than if you absolutely would feel it right through your whole body. It's just a theory. Knowing me, I would still be cautious when I'm riding on roads that are absolutely riddled with potholes. And boy, do we have plenty around here. So now it has cruise control. Now cruise control is operated on the left hand side of the on the switch gear, and it's not as handy to use at first than the FJIs. Yeah, it took me a while to figure out. I mean, you know, Lynn remarked that, you know, for first time riding on this bike, I was getting quite adept at operating the various functions, you know, sort of heated seats and heated grips and things like that. But that's me. I love gadgets, I love technology, and anyone who knows me knows exactly what I'm on about. Now on the FJI, you just pressed the traction control button, so to switch that on, and then you had a rocker, and to set your speed at whatever you want, you just press the rocker down and that's setting. It come up on display set. And then if you wanted to increase your speed, you just press the rocker up in steps and it would gradually increase speed. Same as if you want to reduce your cruise control without knocking it off, you press your rocker downwards, minus. If you wanted to knock your cruise control off, I always pull my clutch in. I tended to do that rather than brake. I mean, you're braking, you're getting a much snatchier disconnection of the cruise control. With clutch in the right conditions, I found that to be the best. Right, so there we are. Now on the K1600, you knock it on first of all, the traction, and then you pull a little trigger switch with your index finger towards you, and that set it. So you see set on the displays, the same way, so that's handy. Fog it up again now. We're on the M65 now. They're renewing barrier there. You can see it's a concrete barrier. They're replacing the old metal crash barriers with this concrete stuff. Right, so back to cruise. So that will be set. Now if you want to increase your speed, you just push this switch, which is sticking upwards, forwards. Makes sense, going forward, so you want to increase your speed. Now if you want to knock it off, again, clutch in, that's what I prefer. But if you pull the little cruise control switch towards you to set it back on, well then it resumes to what it was on the previous time you used it. So if we were doing 70 on a motorway, of course it will climb to 70 miles an hour. So the only way, unless someone knows different and let me know, the only way that you can reset it is to slide the other switch to the off position and then slide it back on. And then of course whatever it's set at, that's the new memorized cruise speed. So it's a little bit, sort of, two switcher, whereas the FJR did it with the one rocker. Once you put your traction control on, which was a button just at the bottom, just above the horn, and away you went. So I think on the FJR the cruise control procedure was a lot less complicated, but again, I've gotten used to it, so it's only because it's different. It's not a criticism, it's just different. People who are BMW riders, they will be used to this system, they will be familiar with it. I'm not, so as I said, it's not a criticism, it's just I found that to be a little bit complicated, more complicated than it perhaps should be. Right, so here we are, just coming to the end of the M65, or just coming off at Whiteburk, and as you can see, there's a bit of drizzle now. Didn't really do an awful lot, just a nuisance value. So I was just really disappointed with the day, because the previous day, the Friday, was absolutely beautiful. Beautiful autumn day, and we were hoping, that it would continue. We've had actually a really this is recorded on the 16th of October. This is the date that I'm doing the voiceover. So this is the 3rd of October that the ride was on. So now it's the 16th of October, and although it's cloudy with the odd sort of bit of blue sky, and currently it is, what is it now, 11 degrees, so 52 degrees Fahrenheit. So with it being cloudy, it feels a bit raw, but it's dry, and we've had, I think, probably 2.5 weeks of really nice weather. Lovely autumn weather. The colours of the trees are absolutely beautiful, because they've not had the high winds that's destroyed all the leaves, so we're being treated by some lovely colours. I think today, the 16th of October, I seem to remember hearing today, was on this day in 1987 was the day that we had an absolute massive storm. especially in the south of England. I don't think we were affected up here. I mean, it was just windy, but the south of England, especially, there was a hurricane, and it absolutely destroyed trees. Seven Oaks in Kent. You know, there was devastation of all the oak trees down there. London even had I think 60-70 mile an hour winds and over 100 miles an hour in the Channel Islands, so it really was a massive storm. And so to think what it were like this day in 1987 to what it's like now, you know, there's no wind, dry, and 52 degrees Fahrenheit or 11 degrees Celsius, so we're not doing too bad. And apart from the fact that the days are getting short now, you know, of course when the clocks go back at the end of the month, they will be even shorter. I don't like winter. I do not like winter. Full stop. Right, so we're on Accrington Road now, in Blackburn, just off to Lynn's mum and dad's to show them the bike. So we'll there'll be some more of the ride on part 2, which will follow after this video. So thanks very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed the information and I've given you. I've not bored you, and hopefully you're not fast asleep now, with this playing away to itself. So anyway, we'll see you on part 2, and okay, bye for now. Thanks for watching.